Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's watch list review, or preview actually. Um, Here's the list I have for this week. The list was much bigger, but I shouldn't say much bigger, quite a bit bigger. But there was a lot of the stuff on it had earnings this week, so I took those off. Um, some of them were just kind of in a limbo where too much conflicting charts on different time frames. So let's take a look here. United Airlines. I ran these scans Friday night, so off the top of my head, I don't remember what was what. But United Airlines, we had an inside week here. You see the weekly chart, inside week. This one could go either way. It's the end of the month. It had a good month last month, so the consensus would say it might pop to the upside. But we're going to look at this to go either direction, just in case, because the way the market's been, who knows what's going to happen. If it goes to the upside, we need a break of 52.48. And then our first target is going to be this high here of 53.12. Not a big move, but again, it's somewhere to set stops. You probably wouldn't want to necessarily take profit there because it's not much of a move. Target 2 is going to be this pivot high here at 54.52. At that level, I would likely be taking a little bit of profit at least one contract off with a decent $2 move. The next target is going to be target 3 up here at 55. What is that? 55.88. Target 4 is going to be here at 57. Target 5 is going to be here at 58.12. Of course, you have target 6 here. If you get to target 5 and you still have contracts left, move your stops up, make them tight, and see if you can hit this fifth target here at 60.59. After that, you'll be looking at 61.34, and then you'll be looking at the high up here at 63.70. I didn't add all these because I don't want to have, as it is, I went out 5 targets on this one. If you go to 8 to 10 targets, it's just going to get too many lines on here, too distracting. But you see what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the weekly chart. Just look at the next highs further back from what you were looking at. If we break to the downside, we'll be looking at a break below 48.18. And I came down on this one. I came down the daily chart for targets because you see how big of a range this is for one target. We're looking at $4. We're looking at 10% move for one target. I don't like that. That's too big of a target for me. Too big of a range for one target. I like unloading some shares along the way or contracts along the way. So if we break below this, there's a gap here on the daily chart. If you take a look here, the trigger is going to actually be entering the gap. Target 1 is going to be the gap fill at 46.94. The entry would be 48.18. Target 1 would be 46.94. It's hard to see that number. Target 2 is going to be down here at 45.75. Target 3 is going to be down here at 44.48. And target 4 is going to be at 43.46. So the next target would be, it would actually fill a gap here at 43.32. So it's only 12 cents away from target 4. And then the next target would be the bottom of this candle at 41.79. And then you're looking down here, and I really wouldn't look for targets past this. This held support for several weeks. It's probably going to be a pretty strong support. I think I'd probably be all out by here. If you have 8, 9 contracts and you only have one left when you get here, sure, put your stop at break even and let it ride. There's no harm in doing that. Just want to make sure you don't lose money or give back too much profits. So that's what I would do there. Mondelez, I haven't traded this a lot. I used to trade it years ago, only because the one group I was in They traded it. Aside from that, I really haven't traded it. I haven't even really looked at it. Uh, if you look at the monthly setup on it, it's a 2 up, but it's kind of faded recently towards the end of the month. If you look at the daily or the weekly, you'll see the same thing. Nice green candle here, then it started to fade, and then this past week it faded. Actually, this past week just about everything's faded. So we're going to look for a break to the downside. So below 63.93, we'll continue this recent downward slope, and then target 1 is going to be the low of this candle at 63.25. Target 2 is going to be low of this candle at 61.95. Target 3 is the low of this candle at 61.15. Target 4 is going to be 60.30. And you can also come down here and get a target here and here. I did not add them on there, again, for the same reason. I'm trying to keep it kind of clean. But you see the point, the whole idea here. If you still have contracts left, this will be your next target. Then here, then here, then here. Pretty simple. Next one is Newmont Mining. I haven't traded this for quite a while. The market keeps continuing what it's did this past week. We should see gold start shooting up. So we take a look at the monthly. Had a couple of really good months in a row, and then April it kind of faded. Take a look at the week. 2 weeks ago it dropped really hard, and then this past week it tried to rally and then kind of faded again towards the end of the week. So we're looking for a break above 74.99. And again, I don't like this huge range. If I was to set of targets on a weekly chart, I'd be looking at 86 for the target. I'd be looking at 17-18% for first target. And that's a 17-18% move on the underlying. That's not on the contracts. So I'm going to come down to the daily chart to look for some targets. And look here, we have a gap. So the target 1 is going to be 75.66 from the 74.99 entry. Again, you probably won't be taking profits here because it's not much of a move. And then the gap fill is going to be 76.11. And then after that, you're looking at 81.40 for your next target. And then you can keep going on and on. Up here, there's a gap here on the weekly or on the daily. Now, if you wanted to find more targets, you could come down here. If you don't like this big range here, you can come down here and look, and you'd have a target here, and so on. I'd look at this for the next target, then here and here, or you go to the 4 hour or 2 hour, whichever one you want to use. Target here, target here. So that's what I'd be looking for. That's what I have for the weekly for this week. Good luck trading. Be safe out there. There's there's some pretty nasty looking charts out there right now. So just be careful and don't. When I started out, it took me probably a couple of years to grasp the idea of honoring my stops. I remember when I blew out my first account, I had I remember what it was. It was FXI. And I had been doing this. It wasn't just FXI. I had been doing this, holding on, just thinking it's got to reverse. And with options, you have expirations. You can't just hold them and hope. And I had been doing that, and I was down to like my last $3,000, I think. Actually, it was that $1,000. I was down to my last $1,000. I bought FXI, and I had like 2 months on them, and I thought it's got to reverse. There's no point in selling now, and I held it, and they expired worthless, and I had like $20 left in my account. You cannot do that with options. You don't want to do that with anything, even with commons, but you certainly don't want to do it with options. So I know, I understand that feeling, and when the market's the way it is now, that's where it tends to happen more, because we've been in such a rough market lately. Um, you think, okay, this has to be the bottom, this has to be it. I'm going to load up on calls, and look what happened last week. The market kind of bounced a little bit. If you look at SPY, on the weekly. Actually, it didn't bounce. Well, it did bounce here. It started to bounce, and people bought in. This is where there's a likelihood of people to buy in, thinking, okay, it's going to reverse now. I'm going to load up, and then this. Um, so, or even here, people start loading up, and granted, this is a 3-week period, but people start loading up, and then it gets up here, and they don't take their profits, or maybe they didn't buy till it got up here. They may have waited till here and got in, and now they're like, okay, it's going to continue, and then they don't sell, they don't stop out, and you can lose everything. So that's one of the big pitfalls to be careful of, especially with options. So, all right, there's my public service announcement. So thanks for watching, and see you guys later. Please comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Keep me motivated here, and see you guys later. Thanks. Bye.